Abby Phillip shuts down another MAGA meathead, man. I just feel like it's just like talking to a child at this point. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into it. Let's go.
Demonization, I think, generally. But I'm asking you about your insistence that certain words that are being used by your political opponents should be off limits. And if that is your contention, then I think lay that on the table and let's make that clear and let's apply it to everybody.
MAGA tool Ben Ferguson was a guest on Abby Phillip's show as part of a panel discussion over the ongoing fallout over Charlie Kirk, freedom of speech, and the rest of the insanity that we're seeing in the United States right now. We're going to take a look at clips from this heated debate between Abby Phillip, Ben Ferguson, and the rest. I will share my thoughts on this as well. Let's check it out together.
Another day, another act of political violence in America, and another round of the blame game. A sniper opening fire at an ICE facility in Texas, killing one detainee and hurting two others. The suspect died after turning the gun on himself. Now, not long after, the FBI director published images of shell casings with the words anti-ICE written in blue. Also, not long after the shooting, the political lines were drawn.
You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
So, look, this is extremely disturbing that there's another one of these types of shootings. I think we've got to deal with this as a country, first of all. But I also, just for starters, I'm curious, how does it help to have the vice president say that?
Because the third one in Texas. I mean, if you know people that work in law enforcement, my family does. I know ICE agents in Texas. This is the third attack we've seen in Texas, in the same district as the man in charge today was saying. Like, this is the second time he's had to have a press conference today.
Who was killed today? Who was killed today?
So you're saying since it wasn't...
No.
So you're saying since it wasn't... It was innocent people that were killed today.
Don't put words in my mouth.
You asked a question. I'm answering your question. You're saying since it wasn't ICE agents that were killed, therefore this is a null and void conversation?
No. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Are you kidding me?
That's gaslighting. I'm asking you a simple question because when J.D. Vance went up there, and when you're coming up here... This is not a
good argument from you.
First of all,
innocent people got shot today, and you're like, well, it wasn't ICE agents that got shot.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the division that you all are sowing in this country...
I'm not sowing anything. I'm saying protect all law enforcement.
Because of the simple fact, yes, protect
Gavin Newsom went on TV last night. Did you see what he said? He said, ICE agents are authoritarian. You don't think that can inspire someone to do that?
ICE agents should be able to come home every single night. And so don't put words in my mouth. I am acting like it. First. And second, the fact that you and J.D. Vance and every other Republican can go on here and talk about...
We're not shooting people. We're not shooting people. The left is shooting people, and they're being inspired by that.
I'm
sorry. I have a friend that got shot and assassinated 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm a little bit hot on this one because you guys have been irresponsible with the rhetoric that is coming out from people on the left. Gavin Newsom went on TV last night. Gavin Newsom went on TV last night and disparaged ICE agents, attacked ICE agents, said they're authoritarian.
But before you even get to the evidence,
the evidence? Watch what he said last night on late night television.
I'm not talking about that, Ben, because you come on here and you gaslight.
I'm not gaslighting. I don't want innocent people to die.
Let me finish my sentence, please. You come on here and you gaslight and you put words in my mouth. And that's not what I said.
You interrupted me and said you got
Can you just let him... Ben, in the interest... in the interest of finishing this conversation...
What I want you to do is not only lift up those ICE agents. What I'm trying to get you to do is also lift up those people who were killed. Because when you do not lift up those people who were killed, as well as those law enforcement officers, you sow division in this country. And that's what I'm saying.
Let me say this.
Here's where I agree with Ben.
Let me say this. Look at the bullets that are on the ground.
Here's where I agree. Here's where I agree with Ben.
Hit a pause on that and let other people...
Here's where I agree with Ben, all right? When the goal clearly was to hurt ICE agents, it matters.
Said it.
And I think that applies not just to ICE, but to law enforcement across the country. We should be angrier when law enforcement are targeted in this country.
Thank you.
Period. Now, that is a separate issue from linking rhetoric to saying that's why this has happened. They're doing this.
It was written on the bullet stand.
I understand that, but that doesn't mean
you don't have to connect dots here.
Of course
he
you
wrote
do.
it down so he didn't have to connect
No,
dots.
I know his motives. I'm not questioning his
so
motives.
Then the motive was anti-ICE
correct.
rhetoric.
Well, did it say rhetoric on the? Because I thought
it said anti-ICE, and when you have people out there literally 8 hours earlier,
right? So, but here's what
attacking ICE agents.
I'm not going to hold people accountable for everything someone else says and say, oh, well, this guy must have done it because this guy said it over there. Again, there's way too much attacks on law enforcement in this country.
Coming from who, though, Dan?
Coming from a whole range
Show
of
me
people.
a Republican elected official that has attacked ICE or law enforcement for doing their job.
How about the Capitol Police?
I said, give me a...
You said a Republican who's...
I said of ICE agents right now. You're going
said
back...
or law enforcement. No, you said or law enforcement.
ICE agents.
Yeah, no, ICE agents...
All right, hold on. Let me let Kristen have a word. Go ahead,
I was going to say, the fact that we still have not yet, taken a second and said, let's think of those agents, let's think of the people, we have gone straight to our party jerseys.
Well, to Bakari's point, the people who were killed today...
That's my only point. I said, think of the people, all of them.
I agree with you, but you go right to, we don't know the motive, we don't know this. Look,
I didn't say that.
He actually didn't say that. I mean, I do think he's making a point that the people...
on this one.
Well, hold on. Hold on.
Ben Ferguson is so insufferable and disingenuous. Could you imagine being stuck in a broken down elevator with Ben Ferguson or having Ben Ferguson seated next to you on a long flight? And he debates like an 8th grader, which I'm probably being offensive to 8th graders in saying that Ben Ferguson debates like an 8th grader. They're continually saying, what about the actual people that died? Ben Ferguson doesn't care about that, and MAGA doesn't care about that, because in their mind, immigrants are not humans. And when Dan Abrams talks about right-wingers attacking law enforcement, he says, how about right-wingers attacking law enforcement? Ben Ferguson, there aren't any examples of that. What about January 6th? Oh, Ben Ferguson, we're not going to talk about that. That was a few years ago. We don't engage in anything that happened in the past. And let's gloss over all of the violence from the right, Ben Ferguson and the rest of MAGA says, and we're only going to focus on violence which is maybe from the left, but we're going to focus on that before we even have the evidence to prove that it was the left. So Ben Ferguson is immediately jumping to this ICE shooter was on the left when we don't know yet. And of course, they're still saying that the guy that shot Charlie Kirk was on the left, and we don't know that yet either. They immediately jump to that. So Ben Ferguson, it's got to be a toss-up between Ben Ferguson and Scott Jennings as to who is more disingenuous and who spreads more misinformation and disinformation on Abby Phillip's show.
The people who were killed today were detainees. I actually think it's a valid question. Who were they?
Well, I think
what were their names? What were they accused of? Why were they there?
Killed. The motive of the shooter was to kill.
I think that's the point Bakari was trying to make.
Before we start going into motives, there are two sides. It's not Republican and Democrat. It's good and evil. And for some reason, we get lost into this fight where we blur the lines and say, well, we can all agree here that people who want to go shoot someone for whatever reason is wrong without saying, oh, Republicans, you don't know the motive. We can admit the motive. If they're deranged and they want to kill someone, there's nothing
Hold on,
bad.
Ben, hold on. I think you're right. And obviously, I think that's not, though, what a lot of people are doing. They're saying this is the left against the right when it's really deranged people against all of us. And I think that is... Hold on, Ben. It's deranged people against all of us who are not deranged and don't go out killing people. I just don't understand what is the value in saying they did this, they did that, when it's he did it.
It happens on your show every night.
What?
Every single night, it's they did this, Republicans doing that, Trump rhetoric, this and that. It can never just focus.
No, but
every
really,
single night.
in a concrete way, what are you talking about?
Every single night, it is here, and it's not just Republicans saying they did this. It's Democrats forgetting even what happened, trying to gaslight over it and say...
who is Peyton Gendron?
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
But hold
on a second, Bakari. When on this show have we blamed Republicans as a corporate group for
I am
what?
not. I didn't
Murders?
say blame anyone. What I'm saying here is that there were tragedies that happened, and even right now, as we're talking about this one, and to talk about the detainees that died.
So this woman here, Kristen Davison, plays into the MAGA victimhood. They are always victims. And that comes right from the top from Donald Trump. He's always the victim. Anything that goes wrong, it's somebody else's problem. And, you know, they're so mean to me and they're always attacking me. It's ridiculous.
I want to pray for them too. But immediately we went to, we can't talk about the rhetoric, your rhetoric, that rhetoric. You go right into this.
We did not. It started with the clip of J.D. Vance. But who was Peyton Gendron? Who was Peyton Gendron? Who was Peyton Gendron?
Before we go there,
he actually murdered people. 1 second.
The clip we showed was J.D. Vance, not what actually happened.
But he
what
was
does that have to do with it?
He committed mass murder of Buffalo grocery store patrons, just innocent people. Who was Dylan Roof? The things they had on their weapons, the things they had on their guns, and all I'm saying is yes.
So I'm sorry. What are you trying to say? You're trying to say that we don't condemn that as well. That I'm not condemning that as well.
What I'm saying is yes. I will give you credit for that condemnation, but we also condemn that stuff on our side. It's not as if it's this side.
We started the segment tonight with a clip of the vice president.
Go ahead,
for what?
Adam.
For what he said last night about ICE agents. 8 hours before the attack on ICE agents. Is anyone here going to condemn Gavin Newsom?
Go ahead, Adam.
Yes, I can. I don't like Gavin Newsom, so I condemn him.
You know, every time one of these tragic
Every
time one of these tragic shootings happens, everybody's at each other's throats about which side did it, but we're missing a broader pattern in America. This was another young white dude who's in his 20s. We have seen this pattern accelerating over the past decade. The same day Charlie Kirk was shot, the same exact time, there was a neo-Nazi who shot up a school in Colorado. We can look at the acceleration of the radicalization of young men through a few frameworks. There's the COVID pandemic, which had people isolated, had a bubble around themselves, and a lot of young men failed to pull that bubble down and got sucked down these algorithms. I've seen it happen to my close friends. They get sucked down these algorithms. We have foreign actors trying to sow chaos in America, sow division. How much does Putin salivate when he sees us at each other's throats? Then we have domestic actors, people like Elon Musk, riling it up. So all of these factors, wait, hold up, Ben. All of these factors come together to create this pattern that we see of young men in my age range committing these shootings. And if you want to sit here and go back and forth, tit for tats, I can say Dylan Roof, Robert Bowers, John Earnest, none of these were black people. None of these were trans people. None of these were even Democrats. These were neo-Nazis who had things carved into their guns. You can sit here and muddy the waters, but you are just lying.
I just don't want innocent people to die. Sue me for that.
Then maybe tell Trump to tone down his rhetoric.
If you think this is Trump, this is exactly you literally just the political entire argument. So Abby, let me go back to the
Can I make something that might be a little bit more controversial than that?
Hold on a second.
Sure, go ahead.
This is the part that should not be this hard.
He says he hates his enemies.
Hold on, Adam.
Who says he hates his enemies?
This is the part that should not be this hard for people to understand. After the assassination of my friend Charlie Kirk, I would hope, and after multiple attacks on ICE facilities, I would hope that leaders of the Democratic Party, and one of those leaders is Gavin Newsom, would know better than to go on TV and to say that ICE agents are the bad guys and that they're authoritarian, and then expect that no one's going to listen to what he's saying or respond to it. There should be more accountability for that.
Let me just ask you a question about that, okay? Because I think at the heart of so much of this is your insistence that using certain words leads to violence. Is that what you're saying?
Calling people fascists and Nazis and authoritarian,
So when Rand Paul posted this today,
this is the whataboutism.
No. I'm just here. Hold on. Rand Paul said YouTube admitted the authoritarian Biden regime ordered them to censor Americans. He used the word authoritarian.
Yes, is it true or false?
Okay, and then let me hold on. Yes. And then let me play. This is Donald Trump. Just Donald Trump. Listen.
It's a choice between communism and freedom. This is communist, this is Marxist, this is fascist. This is a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist. She's a Marxist. She's a fascist.
We have short memories around here. I guess what I'm saying, what I'm asking you, Ben. Last thing, okay, guys.
Socialist?
Guys, hold on.
He's not off.
No.
You guys are running in here.
He was calling Biden a communist.
Ben, he was talking about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Hold on a second, okay?
Exactly.
I have a question for you. Are you so committed to this idea that we should just ban certain words from the lexicon? Authoritarian, fascist, Nazi, communist. Should we just ban them because they're all leading to violence? Or is it just that it's not okay when your political opponents use them?
I think you're incredibly smart. And I think that you're smart enough to realize.
Really condescending.
No, I think you're smart to realize that when you demonize law enforcement, to the point where what is happening is becoming regular against ICE agents because it's coming from people like Gavin Newsom, we should know that there is a correlation there.
Hold on. I take your point about.
It was 8 hours.
Hold on. No.
earlier.
Hold on a second. Listen. To a degree, I take your point about demonization, I think generally. But I'm asking you about your insistence that certain words that are being used by your political opponents should be off limits. And if that is your contention, then I think lay that on the table and let's make that clear and let's apply it to everybody.
We missed a good point. We missed a good point that he made. Everybody at the table did, and I think that we need to pay more attention to it. And I'm glad you brought it up and not me. What there is a common theme about is young white men in this country between the ages of 20 and 30 committing a series of mass shootings. And until we actually have a conversation about that, do you know who else struck that chord? You know who else said the same thing on Fox News? Trey Gowdy, who said the same thing. We have to begin to have a conversation about families, video games.
I love
the problem is people love Ferguson.
You and I can agree on
that. We have to
include
the media and social media. The fact that tonight the first thing we started talking about was J.D. Vance instead of what actually happened is irresponsible.